Sign again.
Yeah, Scholar is used in schools where they have very stringent security requirements. So
Yeah, that's fine. Here is what I tried to do.
yeah.
Yeah, it
All
is
right.
my creator.
Okay, right, right.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I see you've got a link to an image. So the first thing you're going to have to do is, um,
Yeah. What I did, why I did this was because I was not able
okay,
uh,
right,
to bring the image here to
okay,
insert the image.
okay. Um, what's strange is that I don't see the toolbar. Yes. Do you have a toolbar in your
Yeah,
creator?
let me just check because it used to be there. I don't know why it disappeared
Okay.
now.
It looks like you've
Let
really
me
done everything properly.
let me
Is
go.
this?
Let me go back and see.
Yep. Um,
Yeah, yeah. Here is
okay,
the
here we go.
tool.
There. All right. So, okay, so do you
When
have
I
this
wanted to
file?
insert
Yeah. So that one is insert a video. So I think you want to insert an image. Yeah.
an image, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So go
This
ahead
is
and
an
click
image.
on that one. Yeah. Okay, then go to browse
And
files.
browse.
Okay. All right. Now you need to actually scroll down because the window that's opened up on Firefox for some reason is too small. So can you scroll down? You see on the, yeah. Uh, that may,
Yeah.
yeah, that may be what, yeah. And there you go. That's the upload an image button. And when you click on that,
Okay.
yeah,
So it gets me.
now you,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. I now got it. It was because the window was not wide enough to let me know that
yeah,
this
I'll
upload
report.
image button was
So
down there.
on my browser, I use Safari and I use Chrome a lot, but I just
Oh, great.
you can see everything in the window. So I'm going to report that to the development team as a Firefox issue. So
Okay.
that's why you
I
couldn't
got it
see
now.
that
Yeah,
button. Okay.
exactly. I was looking for this button actually, so that was precisely the reason.
Okay, so let me see. Upload file window too small in Firefox. So, um, yeah. Let me just take a. Can you make that window smaller again? So just the way it was before,
Yeah.
because then I'll send a screenshot to the developers and they fix problems
Yeah.
like amazingly fast. So there, I've got the screenshot. Thank you. All right. So I hope that's problem solved. And
It, there it is. I was just waiting for sorting this to put my image in my
was too small.
yeah. Okay.
Okay. So and I've just filed the report with the developers. And the wonderful thing about, or one wonderful thing about Scholar is these kinds of problems get fixed yes, very quickly. But now you know you have a fix, which is to scroll down in the upload file window, and you'll now be able to insert your jigsaw puzzle pieces. And I'm very impressed that you've already got so much um,
Okay.
in your plan. Okay. If you, so first of all, thank you for staying on. I really want
Thank
to.
you. I'm done with my question. Thank you very
All
much.
right, thank you, Getaheg. Yeah. For the others who've stayed on, thank you for staying on. I imagine if you stayed on, it's because you may have a specific question or problem. So I first want to start there. We can do just like we just solved Getaheg's problem. So far, we haven't run into any problems for people in the course that requires more than 5 to 10 minutes to fix. Yes, so I'm happy to, yes, if no one has a burning problem, um, then I will repeat the tutorial for getting started in Creator. Um, if that's the most helpful thing. If you have something else, please just let me know, and I'll try to help you with that. Okay. All right. So let's do the Creator. Thanks, Mohammed. All right. So let me start by logging in. So you know the most common problem is people forget the username, email, or password that they used to create the account. If you've watched the video tutorials, you know you've heard me say that several times. If it's the first time you're saying it, my suggestion is to go watch the video tutorials. All right. They're 1, 2, 3 minutes each, and they will save you a ton of time later. Now, by default, when you log in, you go back to the last place where you were in. So in this case, you know, we want, this is your personal profile, and I want to show you something to avoid. If you end up here where you see this yellow bar with your picture on it, you can actually post an update from here, but this update will only go to your personal profile. It will not go to the course. It will not be seen by the course team. So what you want to do is to make sure that before you post your update, this is for the week 1 community assignment, that you see this icon and that the blue bar, remote partnering, shows up here. If you're not doing that to post your updates, then you're posting in the wrong place and the course team will not see it. And then we'll come back to you asking, we'll send you nasty messages encouraging you to post as soon as you can, and you don't want to receive those. I believe some of you who were not able to attend the orientation discussion group and did not received messages of that nature. So now creators. So here, I'm not talking about the community week 1 assignment, talking about how to get started in Creator. I think you saw Gezahegn actually do exactly what I recommend, which is go to notifications. You'll find a notification called a work request, okay? And this is actually the invitation to start your Creator project. If you started doing anything else in Creator, whatever you did, however you did it before you accepted this notification, is not going to be kept, is not going to be seen by the course. So you need to make sure that you start your project in this way. So initially, the first time you started, it'll say start new work. It will then say view work after that. So that's the quickest way to get to your Creator project. So here we'll view work, and I've actually pasted in Jason Vogt's plan. So here, the plan, you can see if you see these big blue headings, or if when you try to change or edit something, you cannot edit it, you've gone into preview mode. And to go back into edit mode, you need to click on the little yellow pencil here. All right. So when you start, you will not have this structure which you see on the right-hand side. And so the first thing you want to do is to actually create that structure. So you want to take the items in the rubric, the criteria in the rubric, and create an element of structure for all of them, except for the one about creativity and focus. Creativity and focus is something that's cross-cutting. So it's a cross-cutting criterion. You're going to want to be, thinking about being creative and staying focused. So, we don't need you to cut and paste from reports that already exist. We really need you to focus what you want to tell us about your aim, your context, the remote partnering considerations, and so on. So to create these elements of structure, you just click on the Add New here. You should display heading, leave that checked. It is a section you're creating, not something else. And here, I'm creating a new element of structure. And so this is, now if I wanted to move this up, I would use the little four directional arrows here. Here, if I need to change this, I'm going to say, well, actually, my plan needs a preface. So I'm going to change that and save here. If I want to delete it, I just click on the little X. Okay. Now, if you've worked with the community update, you've seen the same toolbar. It works exactly the same way. So the basic difference, which you may find frustrating initially, but which really has a compelling rationale between Creator and Microsoft Word, is that Creator is bare bones, basic, and simple. So the things that you may enjoy doing in Microsoft Word, such as making if I wanted to make the big headline title in red, yes, red capitals, you're not going to be able to make that in Creator. The idea is to keep you focused and concentrating on what is most important, which is what is the substance of what you are sharing with us, not what it looks like. Where it looks like is important with respect to creativity, so the use of images and videos and other media, but not in terms of how you present the text. So that's going to stay very simple. And if you can't make, you may wonder, well, this is going to be really frustrating. If I can't make sections, what can I do? Well, actually, you're making sections here in the structure, and I'll show you how that works. If you go back to preview mode, you'll see that each element of structure has actually turned into a large headline. Furthermore, what I didn't show in the tutorial this morning is if you click on the little printer icon here, and you can actually view in browser, if you're trying to get a sense, okay, what does my overall plan look like? You can get that over here. And here you get a nicely formatted view of what your current plan looks like so far. All right, so if I want to go back to edit, go back to click on the little yellow pencil. Do not touch these buttons. They will make your creator explode. Actually, it's not that bad, but you do not need to submit for review, and you do not need to save or save as a new version. Scholar constantly saves automatically. It's only next week on March the 2nd that you will want to submit for review, because this will send your project for peer review, and you don't want to do that until it's actually ready. It's going to be a draft, but it's ready good enough for peer review. Don't send us something half finished. So that's what these two buttons are at the bottom. I'm only showing you what you need to know. You can see there's a lot of complexity here, many dialogues. Here. You don't need to worry about all of these, except all you need right now is the structure. Now I'll show you some interesting stuff, and you're welcome to sort of click around. For example, under project, you can see that your draft is pending and that it's due March the 3rd, so after March the 2nd. We don't want you to get notifications right away. You can see the timeline here for the different stages of your project. You can see a description, and that's what you initially see when you create your project. You don't need to worry about that right now. All you need to understand is that when you're working on one element of structure, if I go to the plan, all of a sudden I see a blank page. What happened? I'm only looking at this little piece of the overall plan, and so until I start working on it, it's going to be blank. But you can be reassured that the rest of your content is still there, where you've written stuff, which is setting the scene. And I've used Jason Vogt's community update. And as I said, so this one thing you'll realize is that the aim and setting the scene, those first two sections of your creator project, that's actually your community week 1 assignment. So by completing the community assignment, you will have completed 1/3 of your remote partnering plan. All right. So we've tried to build in many things where by doing one piece of work, you're actually helping yourself with other pieces of work. So that, the last thing I will go again review is, and this is kind of a sneak preview, is under the feedback tab. So I'm gonna let me see if how I can zoom in here. Does anybody recognize this? Creativity and focus, aim of your remote partnering plan with ratings. This, of course, is the rubric. And here, as you're working, say I'm working on my aim or on my setting the scene, and I want to check quickly, what do I need to have in setting the scene? I can go here. Let me try to zoom in here. I can go here, and I have, in the same window as my work, I can see that in setting the scene, I want to summarize my partnering context, location, and operating environment, who's involved, how they work, what they do in operations, the roles and contributions of others, especially in relation to their relevant remote aspects, ensure that there's enough information for the reader who initially knows nothing about your context. So now, as you write, you can look at this item in the rubric and ask yourself, is my setting the scene, what I've said here, which is in these 3 sentences, is that, complete enough? Have I told someone who doesn't know me, doesn't know what I do, doesn't know my context or my partnership enough? Have I given them enough information for them to be able to usefully then review my plan? And so that's what you need to be thinking of as an author, because in week 3, that's exactly what will happen. 3 other participants in the course will receive your plan. It will be anonymous, so they won't know it's you unless you say you're Jason Vogt. So that's one consideration, maybe just that's explained in the rubric guidance. And they will have to review your work. So they will have to decide for setting the scene, if this is what I'm doing, what I've put into my plan to set the scene, is it, okay, so there is some scene setting, so it's not a 0. Does it align to the rest of the plan? So is it coherent and logical? So if I'm saying we're not an implementing organization, is that useful? Is that a useful thing to say? That helps me understand how it matches up with other parts of the plan. Does it require major improvements or minor improvements? So personally, if this is really this is Jason's community update, I'm guessing that he's going to further develop this in his creator project. But right now, as it is, I would give it a 2, and I would go into what the major improvements are, referring to the rubric. So this is giving you a sneak preview of week 3, but you can also use this for yourself. As you write, you can look to the right-hand side and look at what am I working on? Have I summarized the partnering context? Have I summarized operations? Have I summarized the roles and contributions of others? So, I know, for example, here that the Church of Sweden International Department supports local organizations. It's interesting that it's not clear that I don't know what their role and contribution as local organizations is, other than being supported by the church. So that's kind of one thing I would put in my feedback to him. But as an author, Jason might also critically question himself, what he's written so far, and decide to further develop or change or amend or improve what he's got so far. So you can play with this. You can review your own work. You can even submit it, and then you will that means that the course team will see your self-review, and then maybe we'll give you feedback on it as well. So you will see also that there is a space for dialogue where the course team will be looking at your plans as you work on them. So you may get a reminder message that the deadline is only 3 days away, but we'll also be giving you more substantive feedback, such as our subjective assessment of sort of how much further work you need to do, if you're really on the right track, and you'll be able to talk back to us. And everything that happens in Creator, no other participant in the course can see it. Only the course team has access to look at your work in progress. And we do this in a supportive way. We're not, and we'll occasionally send you reminders about when it needs to get done. So to go back to the starting point, so getting the hang of Creator is one thing, but the other piece of there are 2 updates, as I said, in the slide deck, and I invite you to download the slide deck from the materials for today's session, because it contains a let me just grab the link here. So this is the slide deck for today, and you'll see it has the essential updates that I'm going to show you now, so you can go back to them. So there are 3. There's the week 1 community assignment instructions. There is the week 1 day 2 and the week 1 day 3. So this is a community assignment. It's broken up into 6 short tasks. Yes. Now on the community assignments, because it is a certification requirement, if you are short on time now, we do want you, and many people have taken up the invitation to use images, to use video. We've got some amazing stuff coming in. But we're also aware that some of you may be short on time, some of you may be on deployment. So if that's you, let me see where we actually put that in. Yeah, if you are short on time, you may post 1 or 2 paragraphs in an update to summarize your context or aim. You can simply write it up. You might want to tell us, look, I'm on deployment right now, so here's the short summary. I don't have time to be dealing with images or making a video and all that this stuff you're asking me, but I do want to get it done and keep up with the course. And that is okay. It's understandable. We hope then you'll appreciate even more the amazing updates that are being posted by your colleagues. But if it comes down to it and you have no other choice, that's all you need to do is just imagine you're writing an email where you introduce your context, to say a new partner or a donor, and you're summarizing, here is my context and here's what I want to improve. Yes. And you just write it up and get it done and click submit update. And so this is different from the creator project. Remember, there are two spaces. There's community, where we post updates, and there's the creator project, which is private. Everything you do in community, everyone else can see and respond to it. Everything you do in creator, only you can see it, and with the support of the course team until we go into peer review. This update is about developing your remote partnering plan using the rubric. So the first thing you want to look at is the rubric, and we give you a glimpse of it in the discussion group. Let me see if I can get this into. So this is the rubric. It's 2 pages, and it covers 7 criteria. So and the first one is a cross-cutting one, and then the other 6 really describe you can set up the structure for your project plan in this way. So here, what are you going to include in your aim? It's these things. Identify the phase in the partnering cycle. If you're not sure about the partnering cycle, it's in the remote partnering workbook. Summarize, and there's also a video from Catherine explaining it. Summarize and justify what you aim to achieve through your action plan for remote partnering. So that's the second thing you need to do. Explain why this is important. Ensure that each section is aligned to the aim. So that, of course, as you flesh out the plan, that's a question you want to go back to. Scene setting, the second section in your remote partnering plan. Summarize your partnership context. And again, these 2 sections are actually what you're doing in your community update. Next is the remote partnering considerations. Why are you working remotely rather than face-to-face? Is it a choice? Is it because there's no money for people to travel around and go see each other and meet? What is remote about your partnership? Is it remote in terms of time, geography, language? It's not just and what does it mean? What does this remoteness do? What is its impact on the plan's aim? So you need to be thinking about these things within your own context. This is not a course in which we're testing your ability to learn a framework or to learn the rubric, because this is about applying it, helping you flesh out something that's for you, that hopefully will be helping you improve how you do your remote partnering work and your partnering work more generally. So again, the 5th one is actually building that remote partnership approach, and each section has very short to the point guidance on how you're going to do that. Then you get to the actual plan, and again, we're not looking for master's thesis. We're looking for short and to the point. Put some points down, write up a couple of paragraphs for each section, and you're done. That's it. And then it goes into peer review. And the amazing thing that will happen in peer review is you will get all this great feedback from people looking at your plan. And they've also just made the same effort that you'd made to actually write up their own, and theirs is also being peer reviewed. And that will be probably some of the most condensed, some of the richest learning in the course. So that's the rubric. Now, if you want to get a view on this rubric, there's a lot of guidance here. And we really, it should take you no more than 30 minutes to read through this and consider it. Some of you, if you're into mind maps, some people hate them and some people love them. This is now this is a mind map of the full rubric, and and we've sort of broken it down because obviously it's not very easy to use this way. If you want to see, for example, the aim of your remote partnering plan. Or let me go to another one, setting the scene, okay, which is probably one of the more, what you share in setting the scene is really, that's up to you to decide. But here are some things that we think might be important. So obviously the partnering context, the location and the operating environment, the specific scenario considerations, the, what we're calling partnership operations, is the most sort of complex branch. So if you're into mind maps, yes, you do have the option of using that, yes, and looking at the mind map as you to figure out what you're going to put in about each plan. Keep in mind though that the deadline is very short. This is a 4-week course for people who are working full time. So it is not the same as it cannot be the same as a 6-month-long seminar in a university where people are doing nothing but studying, even though they may also have a job on the side. It's the studies that come first. Here, you're going to have to do something incredibly hard, which is, as working professionals with personal lives, with families, find time, which is why we've hopefully found ways to make it simple with the 2-page rubric. But if you are the kind of person who likes to engage, to get into some deep thinking and exploration, we're hoping you can do that with tools like the mind map. We've got a full version of the rubric, and we've got other tools that so we'll be sharing with you as we go through. The day 3 update this week was everything you need to know about Creator. And that's everything that was essential this week. The last piece is actually the remote, the voices of remote partnering. And that we've seen great, yes, that is optional. If you're short on time, you don't need to look at these. But let me go to show view admin updates. So they are people with significant partnering experience who share stories and who share their expertise and insights, and you're invited to share your own. So today's, for example, is Esbaba, who has been working in the Niger Delta in Nigeria as a partnership broker, who shares his experience and describes the unique tool he contributed to developing that is sort of sustaining the partnership together. So again, most of the videos are around 1 minute long. If you're short on time, you can skip the voices of remote partnering. But if you have the time, I think we're hoping, many of you have given us very positive feedback about them. Again, your main focus for tomorrow is write up something for your Community One update. If you've got time and would like and find, please do, go beyond, as we invited you to at least pick an image and put it into your update and tell us why it's significant to you, why it means something with respect to the partnership. People have been doing amazing things, finding time, carving out time to do them. Do what you can, but get that community update done, and then do not delay any further with the Creator project. All right, I've been talking for a very long time, so I usually don't just like things to be much more interactive, but yes, so I'm going to stop talking now and just hear if there are any final questions. Mohammed says perfect. Thank you, Mohammed. That's very kind. I hope you will follow up right after this session that no competing priority is going to interfere, and you'll be able to go through all the steps and get started. We have more than half of the people who've already started their Creator project, but of course we really want 100% of our members to make it. And again, keep it simple. If it's, we try to give a lot of detail in the updates, but they're very simple things. Your week 1 update, tell us, your context, tell us what you'd like to do with your remote partnering plan. The Creator project, flesh that out and and do it in as succinctly in as focused a way as possible. And thank you, Mohammed. Looking forward to seeing your Creator project. We're keeping an eye on who's creating who's started their Creator projects or not, and you'll be getting feedback, especially if you start early from us. And next Thursday during the discussion group, we'll be able to. Okay, Patricia, great. I'm glad. You'll have. If anybody else has that problem, we'll turn to you. I actually don't know how to do that in the app on the phone. So I hope this additional session has been useful. Great to be working with you. Really impressed by your persistence. On